Welcome back, everyone. Michael here with Offshore Citizen. Today I'm going to update you on a little tidbit that very few people know about, which is a special zero tax exemption that can exist in the country of Montenegro. So I'm going to fill you in on how that works, whether it might apply to you, and what the circumstances are under which you may want to have one of those companies or not. So let's dive in. Before we do, if you haven't already, please smash the subscribe button, hit the all notification bell. Thank you for watching the videos. If you are interested in help with figuring out how to move abroad, do business abroad, get residency permits, citizenships, figure out what the best residency permit citizenship is for you, where is the best place to form a company, what the best banking is, how to pay the lowest legal amount of tax possible, optimizing, etc., please reach out to me. You can book a call, calendly.com/Michael-Rosmer. There's a link in the description below, or send a message through offshorecitizen.net. All right. So Montenegro, for those of you who are not familiar, is a small country on the Adriatic Sea, just south of Croatia, north of Albania. Has about 600,000 people in it. Very beautiful. I've filmed a bunch of videos from there. And they had historically had one of the most attractive tax regimes in Europe, a flat 9% tax, both personally and business. And, you know, that was pretty good. It's fairly easy to get residency there, although there's kind of some quirks about maintaining it that are a little bit annoying. I've mentioned that, you know, maybe there's a possibility investing in real estate there for a person who wants to, that can allow them to get residency, etc. But recently they changed their tax policies to create this progressive tax system that made it a fair bit less attractive. And so, you know, that's a downside, not great. However, there is something that they have introduced, which is a zero tax company for 8 years. Okay, so granted, only applies for 8 years, but you can get a tax exemption for 8 years up to 200,000 euros a year if the company operates in the northern part of the country. Now, there's some areas like it doesn't apply to agriculture and fisheries and things like this, but for most people who are watching this, it would probably apply to your business. Now, of course, do you actually want to operate in the northern part of the country? That's a whole other conversation. However, you're going to find typically that labor is cheaper there. Certainly you have, obviously, not a huge labor market in general, but, you know, this could maybe be an interesting way to tap into the zero tax market for people who are looking for a company accordingly. Now, note that Montenegro would not typically be on blacklists, so it's something that you can kind of pass off without getting much attention, and at least on the surface complies with all the international kind of standards around tax. So that's pretty interesting. Now, the downside of this is Montenegro, as not an EU country with not like the best reputation, it's not a terrible reputation, but it's not the best reputation, typically suffers from banking issues. Now, you can get local bank accounts pretty easily. However, the quality of local banking is quite low, especially if you're not actually there in person. If you're doing small amounts of money, which granted, if you're doing 200,000 euros a year, then maybe you are dealing with smaller amounts of money, but is not, it's not great to deal with the banks remotely, I find. You generally are going to have a difficult time communicating with them, talking to somebody who is in a position who they really understand what's going on, etc. And as a result, this means you probably are going to want to have some sort of bank accounts outside the country. Now, this is possible. Of course, you can get bank accounts in the EU, in various different countries. There's various online payment institutions, although to be fair, a lot of those have been getting tougher in terms of kind of asking, why are you banking here and not somewhere else, etc. And so we'll see how that goes over time. On the flip side, of course, you could be operating in crypto. And so let's just use a simple example. Say you're in Portugal and you're operating through a Montenegrin company operating in the northern part of the country, and you just are dealing entirely in crypto. Okay, well, that would kind of meet the standards perhaps of what you're looking for, and then you could kind of flow it through to yourself personally. So there are a variety of situations where it would work. It's not good for if you're talking about something like e-commerce, because the payment processing options are not good, although granted you could also flow through from somewhere else like UK through an MLP or something like that. So there are options. It's not entirely without possibilities, and in the right situation, it's probably something to consider. The additional benefit here is that you can get residency by having a company. And so if you can kind of pair these up with having some sort of residency, again, some quirks about maintaining that residency, but realistically speaking, I mean, zero tax is pretty hard to disagree with. And when it's especially related to a country that doesn't have a reputation as a tax haven, I think that's also fairly attractive. Granted, 200,000 euros, not a huge amount, but that's profit. And so, you know, you could have a €1,000,000 a year company that happens to be making 200,000 a year in profit, and that would be okay. So anyway, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Reach out to us, book a call. I will look forward to seeing you on the next video.